Welcome to Backstage Records, the spoken word record label that brings you in-depth interviews with major international artists. I'm Wright, and I recorded the interview that you're about to hear backstage at Bingley Hall, Stafford, on the night of the 12th of November 1979, about an hour before the band were due to go on stage for their second night at this venue. They would then go on to play Glasgow and Dublin, and apart from some dates in Japan in March of 1980, they would never tour again. I didn't know this at the time, nobody did. But listening back to what Benny said in retrospect, it becomes pretty obvious that the band were not happy touring and were already considering coming off the road. This then was Abba's second night at Bingley Hall, and I began by asking Benny how the previous night had gone. Last night was in fact the first night at Bingley. How did it go?
Very well. We enjoyed it very much, and very, very good audience. Very warm.
Do you find audiences outside London are different in any way to in the big city?
It was different each night in London. There was three really smashing nights for us, and three sort of more laid back. I don't know why that is, but it depends a lot, I think, on the average age of the audience. Sometimes they're a little older and younger, and sometimes it's a lot of teenagers, you know. So it's I wouldn't say there is any difference really between in London or outside London, or in Europe or in America, really.
I wonder if I could take you back to the very early days of Abba, and whether you could tell me exactly how Abba came together, because I gather you were sort of individual artists and came together as a collective unit.
Yes, that's right. We was mainly on a social basis to start with. I mean, we met the girls. Bjorn and I, we've been friends since long way back, 15 years or so. We wrote some songs together, and we met the girls. And Bjorn and I was into doing an album, the two of us at the time, in Swedish, and they helped us with some of the backing vocals, and we thought it sounded nice, so we said it would be very natural for the four of us to make a record together, which we did, and that was in late '71, and since then we've just, kept on doing the music we want to record. And well, that's about it. It's not very much to say, really.
Somebody told me a funny story about the name Abba, A-B-B-A, which was the copyright to that was owned by somebody else, I gather, at one stage.
No, it is a herring factory, a marinated herring, and we had to ask them when we decided to use the name Abba if they would agree upon it, and they said no problems as long as we stay out of big troubles.
So you're a herring company?
No, we're not. They are.
Right, it was '74 really with the Eurovision Song Contest in Waterloo that really did it for Abba. I mean, yes. How much of a break is that? Because it must be very difficult for a Swedish group to break into the rest of Europe and into the rest of the world. I mean, was that really a door opening for you with the success of the Eurovision?
Yeah, it sure was, because to win the Eurovision might be in a way worthless if you don't have anything to follow it up with. And in our case, we entered it because Bjorn and I basically look upon ourselves as songwriters and producers also. But we've been participating in the Eurovision Song Contest for maybe 4 or 5 times, writing songs for the Swedish part of it, And we've been very close a lot of times. And it is an opportunity as a songwriter, definitely, if you write a song to have it spread out around the world. And we had a good song, as we felt. We had more songs from the Waterloo album, but and I guess we would have more songs that everybody else would find more suitable for the Eurovision Song Contest. But we said, let's take Waterloo because we thought that was the best one, as we felt, even if it's not really a Eurovision song. So, and also the fact that, winning the thing and half a billion viewers or whatever it is watching, and also knowing that we had the ability to follow it up with other records, I'd say it was really essential to make it so quick as we did.
You can't wish for a better launch than that, really.
No, not really.
Everyone thinks automatically now of ABBA as being sort of instantly, every time an ABBA record comes out, it's straight to the top and all that. But from Waterloo on, I mean, you had two singles out then, which were Ring Ring and I Do, I Do, I Do, which didn't really do that well for you. I mean,
Ring Ring didn't do anything. That was the Eurovision song that we participated with in Sweden the year before in '73, where we were number 2. So we didn't go to the international part of it. But that's right, and especially in England, because I have a feeling that it's easy to get it, to be labelled. If you're a Eurovision Song Contest winner, that's what you are, and that's a one shot, and that's it. So we can forget about ABBA.
That's happened many times, isn't it? I mean, did that worry you?
No, not really. No, we weren't really worried. It took a year after the Eurovision, so into '75, before we started in England again. I Do wasn't really a flop. Maybe it was like number 15, so I don't know.
From that moment onwards, it just went up to the heavens.
Yeah, it's been working
SOS
pretty
was
good.
The one after that.
SOS, yeah, Mamma Mia.
How difficult is it? I mean, it's you and your partner really writing the songs.
It's pretty hard, yes.
I mean, do you find it difficult to sustain that? And once you've written all these songs, do you find it difficult to make your mind up which you should put out next, what you think's the right thing for the right market?
Yeah.
And do the girls always agree with you?
The problem is not to pick a song, I say. The problem is to write it. Because you never know we don't know what we'll come up with, It could be anything. It could be a Chiquitita or Does Your Mother Know? I mean, they're not very much alike, are they? I mean, and so we never know. So what we do is we sit down and we write and we record them. And then when we have a full album, it's we're very too close to it to really decide which one would be the best single right now. I mean, that's not the problem for us really. It's more we ask people and see if they have the same opinion as we might have, and if they do, that would then obviously be the single that we release.
You obviously tour the world. I mean, you really do, all over the place. How much of a strain is that on you? I mean, I think a lot of people go along to concerts. There'll be people here tonight seeing you on stage who don't realise that you're going to jet from one place to the other and you're going to stay in hotels and all the rest of the stuff. I mean, how much of a strain is that constantly just moving from place to place to place?
Well, we're not doing it constantly. We have we've made only one major tour since '74, which was an end of '76 here in Europe, and that was for 3 weeks, and we had 2 weeks in Australia, beginning of '77, and that's it. The only tour we made, apart from this one, and we were spending like 3 weeks in Europe and 3.5 weeks in the United States, and that's all for the past 5.5 years. It's not very much.
Is that a conscious decision on your part to do that?
Pardon?
Is that a conscious decision to do that on your part?
Yes, definitely is, because it is a strain to be out on the road too much, I'd say, and we don't want that, and we don't have the time to do it either, because we need time to write and produce the records, and besides, I mean, none of us really enjoy being on the road. I mean, the travels, the hotels and all that. Everybody enjoys being on stage naturally, but that's such a minor part of the time that you spend when you go out on a tour.
Are you actually involved in any production with other people, or is it purely and simply ABBA?
Yeah, well, it has been for the past 4 years at least, only ABBA. I produced a record with a Norwegian fellow, a friend of mine, just a couple of months ago in Norwegian, just to do something else, because I felt it was about time to sort of, well, just to do something else than only ABBA, and just being a producer, not writer, only a producer. But otherwise we haven't done anything like that.
Do you see that as something for the future, maybe?
Yes, definitely, yes.
How long do you see ABBA touring around? I mean, I know you've said you're not doing that much touring, or you haven't done that much touring in the past.
No.
But how long do you see ABBA really as a collective unit touring around, doing concert tours?
Doing concert tours, I have no idea. I don't even know if we're going to make another tour after this, but we haven't decided anything about it. We're going to Japan in March, but it's the same setup, same crew, same band. Then after that, we haven't decided really what to do. We're going to write and record a new album, of course, and then we'll see.
I was going to ask you actually, do you find it difficult to write in English? I mean, you obviously speak perfect English, but is it difficult for you to write in English too?
No, well, I'm more emphasizing the music part of it, and Bjorn is writing most, if not all, of the lyrics. But we've been doing that for many years, and it is really the only way. I mean, it would be an impossible situation for us singing in Swedish because nobody would listen.
Well, you've got a new album out at the moment. I say it's a new album. It's actually Abba's Greatest Hits Volume 2.
Yes.
If there was one particular track you wanted me to play off that, which one would it be, and would there be any special reason for it? A melody that you're particularly keen on or something?
No, there are many that I like very much, that I feel proud of when I hear them. But it's hard to pick one, because they're different. I feel I like Thank You for the Music very much, and I also like the ballad from the same little concept thing that I Wonder.
Talking about concepts and things, I was wondering really whether you see Abba forever as a singles type operation, or whether you'd see yourself ever getting into something of a concept nature albums wise in times to come.
I never really understood what a concept album is, to be honest. I mean, I have a feeling it's only a matter of make believe, isn't it? Because I mean, if you take an album like, which I think is one of the, if not the best album ever made, like Sgt. Pepper with the Beatles, it's looked upon as a concept album, which it is. I mean, they start off with the Sgt. Pepper band and they finish off with it before A Day in the Life, which puts it all together, right? They give it a frame, but if you listen to the music on the album, it's still, I mean, what you have there is 10, 12 hit songs, just happen to be on the same record. So I don't really know what that would be if it's not like an opera thing, or a musical idea. So that would be a definite concept. Otherwise, we've done so far is just writing songs and trying to do it as good as we can and put it all together.
Where are you most successful outside the UK?
Oh boy, I don't know. It's about the same, I'd say. Scandinavia, Germany, Holland, Belgium, Australia, Japan, South America.
What do they think of you in Sweden?
Well, they enjoy what we're doing very much.
I mean, you must be absolutely huge in your own countries.
Yes, we are. We are, and they've known us for such a long time, because I mean, we were all very well known before we formed Abba as solo artists or as playing in different groups. Bjorn and I did. So they've been familiar with my face and Bjorn's face for at least, so it was in '63, and the girls, I think they started about the same time, maybe '66, '67. So I mean, they know who we are.
They've followed Abba right the way through.
They treat us they're very friendly towards us.
Do you still get chased around for autographs and everything in Sweden?
Yes, but the Swedish people are very laid back. They don't bother you very much. They recognize us and they sort of say hello and smile, but they leave us alone, which is definitely an advantage to stay in a country like that. I can't even imagine the situation, how it would be if we were French, for example. Living in France would be very difficult.
Yes, they tend to look after their artists rather well there, don't they?
They do.
They chase them around all over the place. So it's 3 more concerts anyway on this tour.
Yes.
Bingley tonight, and then Glasgow.
Yes.
And then off to Dublin.
Yes.
And you said you don't know whether Abba's going to tour again, but doubtless you will.
No, well, apart from this March thing in Japan, I have no idea. We'll see about that.
Certainly wish you well on this one. We look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you back in the not too distant future, because I'm sure you will.
Well, yeah, you never know.
Benny Andersson in Conversation was recorded at Bingley Hall, Stafford, on the 12th of November 1979.